Okay, go.
Hey kids, my name is Landon Cassill. I drive in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series in the number 83 Burger King Toyota. This is my dog, Indy, and I'm going to hold her so she doesn't bark at you during this little interview. So, you guys had sent me a couple questions, and I looked over them, and I will be glad to answer them. The first question is, what qualities does it take to show good sportsmanship? Can you think of an example when this has happened in your career? I think good sportsmanship requires patience. You definitely have to be patient to be able to absorb what's going on around you and be proactive and not reactive. It also requires humility, to be humble in your actions and to be able to make wise decisions and to make humble decisions. Thinking of sportsmanship in my career, there's definitely a lot of times in my career where I have to have sportsmanship, and actually I want to say every time I get on the racetrack, I can think of an example that requires good sportsmanship. Just because I don't always win every race that I'm in. In fact, I lose more races than I win. So it takes a lot of humility and sportsmanship to handle that and to be to move on to the next one and to be respectful to the people that have outrun you and that have beat you, and then maybe next time you can beat them. There's a quote here that says, "Victory is in the quality of competition and not the final score," by Mike Marshall. I agree with that. I think you guys should think if you agree with that. What it's saying is that the real winners are the people that provide good competition, that give it all they got, and I think that's very important. The question after this also says, can competitive athletes accept the importance of the process over the outcome? That's a hard thing to do. Sometimes in life, what's on the scoreboard isn't always what's most important. It's what you put into it, and how hard you've worked to get where you're at is maybe the most rewarding part of whatever sport or activity you're involved in. How do you place more value on what you learn and develop on the inside rather than what you gain on the outside? That's just something that you've got to focus on, sticking to your true values and sticking to being yourself. You've got to remember who you are and what you stand for, and not to worry about what other people think all the time, but make sure that you stick to your values and stick to who you are on the inside. And that's much more important than what people think about you on the outside. What qualities do you want in a teammate? I actually do have a teammate in my sport, even though we are race car drivers, and I'm the only driver in my car. I also have another driver that's a part of my team, and he drives the number 93 Burger King Toyota, and his name's Travis, and I like him as a teammate. He is what I look for in a teammate, which is someone that I can get along with, someone that I feel like can challenge me. I think he's a really, really good driver. He's actually accomplished more in his racing career than I have. So he's somebody that I look up to and that I try to aspire to be, and I try to beat him. He's a good teammate. Now, obviously, in other sports, you don't want to beat your teammates. You work with them to win. But in my sport, I do race against my teammate, but we also work together a lot, and we, as a team, make each other better. Who is your favorite athlete in any sport, and why? That's a good question. I think, I'll kind of stick to racing and pick Jimmy Johnson is my favorite race car driver. He's very humble, but he is definitely one of the greatest race car drivers there ever was. He's won 5 championships consecutively, which nobody's ever done. And he's done it while showing grace and humility and patience and sportsmanship. He's a true champion for NASCAR. What is your best memory in sports, and why? I think one of my best memories is the day that I made my first start in the Daytona 500. It was a milestone for me. I didn't win the race. I didn't do anything spectacular in it, but I got to race in the Daytona 500. It was last year, And it was really special to me because I've worked my entire life. I'm 23 years old. I've worked my entire life to get there, and that was a major milestone for me. It's a huge stage. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Daytona 500 or watched it on TV, and I'm proud to say that I've been in that race, and I was a competitor in it. Give examples of unsportsmanlike conduct. I think I think not congratulating your opponent if they've won. I think it's important to acknowledge and respect the accomplishments of the people around you. Obviously they had to be pretty good to win because they beat you. So it's important to be humble and to acknowledge and respect your opponents. And that's probably one of the biggest things is not centering everything around yourself, but realizing that there's other people involved. There's other people that have worked just as hard as you have, and when things don't go your way, you need to recognize that someday they will go your way, and then another important part of sportsmanship is when things do go your way, not to gloat about it or to rub it in anybody's face, is to be humble about things. So, I definitely examples of unsportsmanlike conduct would be pouting and running off, or getting in a fight, or or yelling, or talking bad to somebody, or calling somebody names. It's definitely unsportsmanlike. But thanks for the questions. Thanks for your time, and I hope you guys learned something.
And say your guidance counselor rocks.
Your guidance counselor rocks.